I'm kind of hurt. Keagan left me.
I didn't leave you. I didn't put me over. You gotta talk to me.
Right here.
All right, we'll call this regularly scheduled session of fiscal court into order. And today is my day in the rotation to lead in the invocation. So if you will bow your head in your own way. Dear Lord, we come together today as a group of people who owe everything to your leadership, your direction, and your guidance on all that we do. We count on you to lead us so that we may improve the quality of life for all those in Boyle County in every regard. We ask for your grace and your mercy to be poured out upon us. We ask that you give us the wisdom to act responsibly for those in Boyle County that we are chosen to lead in the efforts to make this a better place to live. So we ask for this, your day, this beautiful day that you have provided us, to allow us the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens, that we continue on the path of doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. And we thank you for the opportunity to serve, and we look forward to your wisdom in everything that we say grace over today and in the future. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, if you allow, and stand with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Now, we can get Miss Mariah, no, we do the minutes first, and let's go over the minutes. We have only one set of minutes from our last regularly scheduled meeting on the 29th of September.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Magistrate Seven, seconded by Magistrate Gay. Comments, questions, changes, deletions?
Judge, I shudder to think the heart attacks that are going to happen around the room, because 3 weeks in a row I have no changes.
We
Hey,
make,
man.
we make history every
Judge.
day, guys.
Judge, be sure to pray again.
All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. I'll sign those, and thank you, gentlemen, for that. Now we're ready to have Miss Mariah talk about approving some bills, and I don't know if she can hear us. Is she? Mariah?
Can we add something to the minutes, to the agenda here? I think J should be a raise for Ann, because 3 weeks, that just shows the stellar
Here
work
she is.
Ann's doing.
There she is.
So I came through this way then when I stand out in the hall, so.
They're having, because they're voting out there, they want to keep it clear of
Right.
Extra people.
Riffraff.
riffraff. No,
Are we riffraff now? Is that what?
no, not at all. Not at all.
So the total of bills to be paid, I have $360,576.83. And then the total of standing orders, we have $337,789.99.
Move we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion made to approve the bills as presented, Jamie Gay, and seconded by Matt Sammons. It was a photo finish over here between he and Brother Short.
Short, I think, beat me.
Any questions, comments, or about the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries.
All right.
All right.
I'll send the next person in.
And you'll kind of,
Bye-bye.
will you help monitor
Yes, sir.
for getting people in here, if you don't mind, Mariah? Thank you so much. Okay.
You want us to move this table down so they can?
No, we're fine.
Now, Keagan, budget transfers.
I got it highlighted for y'all at the top, so if y'all can see it. But it's we had 2 transfers. The first one's the usual we've been having, COVID-19, and then the second one is for the fees from Kroger and the TVA. So it's like $264.90.
Move, we approve the budget transfers as presented.
Second.
Okay, a motion to approve was that Magistrate Gay, heads down, and seconded by Magistrate Short?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, any discussion on the bills? Not the bills,
Budget
excuse me, the
transfers.
budget transfers? None. All those favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, and opposed, like sign, motion carries. All right, next to the cash transfers.
We just had one cash transfer for $120,000 from the general fund for the joint operation. For the next year.
Okay. One cash transfer of $120,000 from the general fund to the joint jail until the next meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Magistrate Ellis, seconded by Magistrate Short. Any discussion on that request for cash transfer?
Timing is of essence on this, as Judge and I have talked about, so thank you, Judge.
Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion carries. All right, ready to start into our consent calendar. And today, we're honored to have our airport board chairman, Mr. Rob Boyle, give us an update on our wonderful airport.
Well, thank you. I just want to thank everybody for your continued support for the airfield. It's a gem, and it gets better every day. The first thing I'd like to report on is that hopefully by Saturday morning, we will have just completed a $3 million airport, both runway overlay and replacement of a big segment of our ramp with concrete so that it can hold up the ever-growing amount of corporate traffic that we have. And so it's a 100% state funded, and which means that we did not have to pitch in the 3 or 7%. And so we feel very fortunate to have this project. And in addition to that, we're going to be able to pave around our T-hangars on the east side of the field and expand our parking lot. Yes. So the good news is,
Great.
I had asked you all, which this was a tough year, so I completely understand that didn't have the cash. Well, the good news is the prices that came in for the paving from the Allen Company were they saved us enough money that we're able to get not only our parking lot resurfaced, but we're going to get 20-something spaces over in the what used to be the gravel parking lot.
Excellent. That's awesome.
And straight. So we're just beside ourselves, and so hopefully by this weekend, and yeah, which is good.
That's a big deal. I'm sorry.
That
to cut you
is,
off, but
it is.
When I was out there most mornings and just trying to find a place to park, and you've got Air Evac that has a good amount of parking, and that's they provide a great service, so they need parking, and just trying to find parking, and that whole front area there is pretty much a watershed kind of thing, and so they were able to pave that. That's going to be huge. So
it is going to be huge, and so we're excited about that. And then to that end, things that are happening at the airport, as we wait for more government money to come in, FAA, state, and local, there's needs that we feel that need to be met, and so we have agreed to, as a board, to entertain. There are a lot of restrictions related with the FAA about how the leases are organized, but that you can use private funds to build a building, and those based on what are called the grant assurances from the FAA. There has to be a lease. If someone else builds a building, the airport would own the building, but they would be able to recapture their money over a 20-year period, and we're looking at doing that, and have formed a new committee that I'm a working group that is comprised of some of our new board members, and so Shea Pendergraph is leading that group as he's looking at leases and financial documents related to feasibility, and Doug Gooch is an engineer, and our other new board member, Patrick Barsati, is on that working group along with Glenn Ball. And so what we've got going on is Air Evac would like to expand, and we'd like for them to stay. We've got some private entities that want to build some big box hangars that may include some business related to it, and which leads me to the last thing that I want to talk about, if I can get my phone open with my mask on.
Glenn's great because Glenn's got a lot of knowledge, you know, airport management, especially down in Florida and stuff like that. So
Yeah, he's already gotten copies of leases from the Florida airports and the minimum
Yeah.
standards, and so he's a great asset.
Yeah, he
and
is.
so the flight school wants to expand. They've got a on-staff mechanic now, and they need a shop. And so at any rate, so stay tuned on that. But leading on to the flight school, I want to make that sort of the last segment that I would talk about. I asked Adrian to send me some talking points last night, and he sent me a long list for his flight training company. They have 9 airplanes now. You know, this is somebody that started with 1 airplane, and now they have 9, which is fabulous. And 12 instructors. They're at 3 locations, but this is their primary location. They're also at Bardstown and a little bit out of Lexington. But what makes Danville so unique is that, number one, we have 2 runways, so that on crosswind days for students, it's much easier. And and in addition to that, we're a GA airport as opposed to Lexington, where one of their facilities is. And so if it's your nickel trying to get flight lessons, you're able to get in and out and not rack up as many dollar hours for the amount of flying that you get done. And there's a need to be in Lexington occasionally as you're learning to fly, but that said, it's pretty handy. So let me get my screen to open back up. There we go. And that at the moment they have 30 to 35 active students. And so there's, you know, they are a growing business. You know, as Stuart Powell always said, never jump up from your desk when you have an existing customer to go meet somebody coming through the door as a potential customer. And so, you know, we feel strongly, which is one of the reasons we formed our community board, to make sure that the entities on this airfield are supported by us so they won't leave and go somewhere else. And you see as businesses up and move, you know, that there's 2 in a relationship, and so we want to make sure that we're doing our part to keep them healthy and growing. So,
Rob, between every line you're talking about, I'm hearing economic development. And we need our community to know, our radio station, our newspaper, to know all that you're talking about here today, because you are getting extraordinary accolades from Representative Kim King and a fellow that you probably know, Kerry.
oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, thank you very much. And then the last thing I'll mention is that they formed a flight rental club, in that people that get their license but they're not ready to invest in an aircraft can rent an airplane and fly. I've noticed that when they formed this club, that several people that had gotten out of flying just because they didn't want to own an airplane have gotten back into flying and gotten recurrent because they've had this opportunity. So it's just great that we have that. So, and that's all I have, unless we have any questions.
Well, I think
Thank you
it's
so
very
much.
important. You made one comment there I really liked it. Your present customers, I call them more or less, you want to make sure they're satisfied, and you pat them on the back and say, we're very appreciative to have you. But we learned a lesson the bad way about not appreciating our customers.
Well, it happens, you know.
You got to take care of your present people in
Yes.
order to grow.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you, I mean, I started flying with Adrian, and he had just the 1 plane, and it was excited when he brought on the second one after I was there for about 8 months. And you know, I've seen he put everything he had into this business, and so I'm glad to see his business expanding. And you know, the rental club is something that he always wanted to do, but just need to be able to do it. So fantastic. And I think it goes back to you guys just really showing him that his business matters, and you guys are doing a great job down there. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I think we appreciate him, because it's been a tough year, you know, as we all know. And so, you know, to remain active and strong, you know, we're proud of that, and we just want to keep building on it.
Just real quick, where does our EDA grant application stand? Is it still hanging out there?
It is. It will be March at the soonest. So the latest is the ARC funds have been lost. So they will, and those were going to be funds that would help supplement the tuition for students. And because EKU has shifted from 4 schools to 1 school, which I think was a great idea.
I do too.
Except that based on the qualifications in the grant award process, you know, it kicked it out, and so they may go back and try to get more. But I know that Bluegrass Ad is working really hard, and they feel optimistic about something happening in the March time period.
Okay.
So I'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Rob, as Detective Colombo said, just one more thing. I have 3 very good friends on Hughes Lane, and thank you for your personal commitment to the trails and what you've committed in terms of that margin through there for the new trail.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of people, because from my house, I can see across the field, people going down that new trail. And what's really fun to see is families out with their kids on bikes, because it's someplace they can go and because it's no motorized traffic. And so
that's a great new link out there.
It's a lot of fun. So today at 12:30, I'm going to be on a conference call with those controlling the purse strings at BCTC, because Michelle Carter, their new director out there, is wanting to connect from Corporate Drive up to the street that is just on the east side of the Wilderness Trail Distillery, and the folks at Wilderness Trail, if we can get connected to them, are going to do a loop around their property.
That's great. Yeah, so again, thank you for that. That's awesome.
You're welcome. And also the folks at TransNav came out while we were working on the parking spot up at the end to ask what was going on, and they're hoping to expand, and when they do, I know they striped the Corporate Drive so you could walk over on the edge, but what you really want to be is off on a separate piece of pavement for safety purposes. And so the guys at TransNav have said that if they get to expand, that they're going to put a segment across the front of their 2 tracks.
Awesome.
And with my passion for Samuel McDowell, I think you are kin to him.
I'm sorry?
I think you are kin to Samuel McDowell. Have you seen some of that information? I've been doing some more research. And the Caldwell family is prominently in some stuff I just got out of New York State.
Oh, interesting.
I'll send it to you.
Oh, please do. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else?
One last thing, I don't know if you mentioned this before, but you guys had to change the runways numbers, right? Or,
We did.
okay. It's kind of an aeronautical geeky thing, but
How come I thought it was compass
Yes.
driven?
Yes,
It is.
It is.
but
And-
so, go ahead.
With very magnetic drift over time. I don't think in our lifetime we have to worry about the pole switching, but it does, it does drift. And so, and it's actually been, you know, they go every 5 degrees, you know, and it's been past the 5-degree mark now for 8 or 10 years. And so instead of 1230 or 1331, which I forget about half the time, and so I have to re-announce when I'm flying. And so it's hard to change the habit.
Yeah. Yeah, so just because of the variation, it went from 1-2 and 3-0 to now it's 1-3 and 3-1. Yeah, so just a little change. It's kind of cool.
First time I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It happens every now and then, just a little variation.
All right, have a great day. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, you can go out there.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Vote.
Thank you.
Yeah. kind
Let's
of a-
see, Mimi is next.
Yeah, I think they're coming from this way now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, every time you come into a runway, you
We
have
need
to
a
announce
walkie
runway's
talkie,
coming
though.
in. So now, like when you're flying in, you got to remember, like, oh no, wait, they're different. Because this is one of
Keegan, would you
this is what I
mind
use
seeing if
for
we can
flying.
find Mimi for us?
Yeah. And it still hasn't updated on this. This is a pretty fairly used software.
Yeah. Watch that step.
Watch that.
Morning.
Hey, how'd you get that? I was reading them. Good morning. I'm Mimi Becker with the Arts Commission, and everyone gives, not as good as the gift you give us, but it's at least a way to keep you up to date on what's happening team at the Arts Commission. Clearly, you know, we couldn't do it without your help. We have the running out. I'm going on to that. So, besides obviously the appropriation we get from fiscal court.
Got mine in the mail.
Oh, did you? You did. Okay. We certainly appreciate the space that we have. The Arts Commission, for those who maybe are not familiar, is in McKinney Center, and we occupy our official space as an office, kind of what was used to be, I tell people it was Brenda Willoughby's bedroom. So our office is in Brenda Willoughby's bedroom. And we have the gallery space that we keep stocked in the main room. However, if you go in there now, you know there's no art, and that is because we don't have it open to the public. So I returned all the art to the artist, and the first exhibit, as soon as you all give the go-ahead for us to have in public and things in that building, we have a very, very special exhibit. Michael Hughes's colorized photos are going up. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, I'm so excited. After complaining to him about how I thought black and white photography was so artsy, now I'm sold on his colorizing. So we're going to do that, and then some classes where he will show people how to do that to photos. So that's coming. Can I say when? I don't know. The stuff is at Minuteman being printed and enlarged and worked on, but I'm not going to hang it till you guys give me the go-ahead, and I don't want you to do that until it's safe. So the purpose, the thing I really want to talk about today is, yes, there are changes in what we do, but only in our delivery of our services. Our goal, one of our primary goals, is to help artists become business people, help business people carry art, and to help people buy art. To put it, that's kind of like a three-prong approach. Obviously, we want to expand the artists and the diversity of artists in our community. So that's one of the ways that we are kind of changing. For instance, right now, the CenterWorks program, I'm sure you're familiar with that, of the 15 participants in the first program that they have done, 6 if you count me, are artists or associated with the arts. So, and 4 of those are actually producing artists. I'm not one of those. 4 of them are producing artists who are wanting to develop arts businesses. One of those also participated in our entrepreneur program. One of the other things that we're doing to help support art and combine arts and business, we joined the farmers market, and through our membership, artists can be at the market for only a one-time fee of $25. They can be there all summer. So we're trying, and that has worked out very, very well. 3 of the artists who are in the CenterWorks program participated in farmers market, as well as, and this is kind of an aside, several of the farmers at farmers market are participating in CenterWorks. So we're excited about that. Probably my biggest regret, and I'm putting a big lemonade thing on this one, our biggest program that we work with the Agency for Substance Abuse Policy, our school play project, we had to think long and hard because clearly that's in-person art. And it was phenomenally successful after 3 years. The total attendance over the 3 years approached, say, 5,500, 6,000. But that also means that you have to pack them in. And we felt like that was too much of a risk because our performance times are in January. The message is so important, though. So we decided to do a video. And we have hired an emerging artist team in Mercer County, which is another thing that we really support, is finding those emerging artists. They are they're young. One of them is a former student. He is also a musician. He really performs frequently with Travis Kern. I'm sure you're familiar with him. So they are producing a video with us, and that video is going to tell the story of 5 people who have learned how to get through it and come out on the other side great. And it's exciting. I've finished the initial series of interviews. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very touching, and it's going to be very illuminating. The beauty of it is, because it's a video, we have a YouTube channel now, which is in one of these newsletters. We have a YouTube channel, so we can upload it to the YouTube channel, and anybody in the country can use it, free. We've always, no charge ever before, but we've always been limited to in-person. now, anybody in the country, churches, whoever. And that project is with the Agency for Substance Abuse Policy and some private funders that help us through. So that's big. And then, of course, gallery hop. Can't do gallery hop this year. Tried. So we're doing kind of the three-prong approach with social media. As I said before, it'll be artists. So go to their studios, talk to them, put up postings, and places that sell art or display art, such as the Hub, Maple Tree, A&L, and featuring on places who buy art. So, for example, two of them are McDaniel Wealth and Chase Bank so far. That's all I've photographed so far. So they are places that have purchased local art, thereby helping to create a market for artists. So there are lots of other little things, but those are kind of the main things that we're working on right now.
Mimi,
Great.
are you all coordinating with Shepherd's House so that they're aware of this program?
Oh, yes.
Good.
As a matter of fact, one of their
And next on the
employees is in the program, and not the one who's here.
Yeah.
I wanted Roger
Yeah.
to be it, but Roger has a lot on his plate right now, and he wouldn't have said no to me. Roger's a former student, so he wouldn't. I don't think he would have said no to me, but I didn't want to put him in that position.
Wonderful. Just
So one of their
along with
other employees.
coordinating,
Yes, absolutely. And we're looking at long term. We have some groups in town who want to do a writing program, both at Shepherd's House and at Isaiah House in Mercer County. But it needs to be in person.
And we were just talking a moment ago about airport coordination
Yes.
with Mercer County. Make sure that Kim King, state representative over there, is aware of what you're doing.
Yes, as
She'll
soon
be-
as
she'll
we,
be thrilled.
I've been working with Hillary Blevins through Isaiah House, and we just, because the writing program needs to be in person, one-on-one in person, and most of our volunteers, if not all, are like me, older. So we're not encouraging, and we're kind of being careful about, placing them in positions, because they would have to go to the location. It couldn't be like you could go to the park or something and do the program, so.
I'm thinking specifically about the film that you're going to be
Absolutely.
preparing.
The school-
Representative King will be extraordinarily
Yes, we
happy to
make
do
sure,
that.
and what's nice is we've not been able to service Mercer County schools. We have done Bergen because their size fit into our seating arrangement we could get, so all the schools in Boyle and Bergen have been involved in the last 2 years. So, yes,
Thank you.
but this way, everybody can have it. And you can have it if you're at virtual, if you're in person, you can have it any other. So, yeah,
Great update. Thank you for all that you're
Thank you for
doing.
coming.
thank you very much. Now, do I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Mimi.
Thank you all.
Okay, next we'll have Jared and Roger. We need to work on that, fine tuning this coordination down. Yeah, if you don't mind.
How would we? How would
Well,
we-
there is a delay in the transmission. but-
And they're watching
We
it,
just,
so-
we could get one person, Judge.
There they are.
you go.
Yeah,
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
I like your little drip saver right there you got on your chin.
We were just talking about you.
It's almost like a little
I
hybrid
invited,
bid.
I invited
Go
these
tape.
gentlemen today to talk and give us an update on the new $433,000 grant that Shepherd House got and how it impacts our relationship and working and improves our ability to reach those that we have not yet reached. So, gentlemen,
So what
you
we
might
did-
want to step up to the mic a little bit more because it is recorded.
What we did with this grant is tie all our programs together. We had the IOP running, and basically your only way into the program was through Chris in the court system. So he becomes our interventionist, and he's up in the court. He determines with Roger who goes in and who goes out, and then the judge approves it, and you go in. The problem that tied in, a little bit of a problem, most of the time it works, but a little bit of the problem was, we're putting people in the program who have 48 hours of sobriety, which means they're still got some rabbit in them, so to speak. So now this allows him to put them in jail, let's say for 30 days, and start the program. And they can do the same curriculum because we've now matched the curriculum. So he can put them in jail for 30 days, and once they complete their classes there, they can then feed into our IOP program. That buys them 30 days of sobriety. It also gets them started on the program. It also allows him to, if he puts somebody directly into the IOP and they're not doing very, very good, he could stick them in jail for a couple weeks, and they could still do the curriculum, and he could pull them back out and put them in the program. With this money, we're able to get MRT workbooks and programming, which is what they're using at the jail. So when Brian decided he wanted to start doing something for county inmates to match the SAP program, he did MRT, and Portals was his curriculum he used. So we did funding for this program for MRT and curriculums. So we're all saying the same thing.
MRT, just for point of clarification, is moral recognition.
Recognition therapy. So
not recognition, recognition.
Yeah, and it is geared for the inmate population, basically, so that they don't always act on their wants. So it teaches them to control that a little bit. It's a very high impulse control type curriculum. It also allows us to hire a case manager that can work in our building and also work in the jail, because a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, some of the biggest obstacles these people face is getting a driver's license, Social Security card. So they go to get a job. Well, with COVID going on, I don't know if any of you have tried to get a driver's license. Really hard to do. Might not be hard in Boyle, but in Lexington, you got to set an appointment. Some guys even have to go to Frankfurt and get them. So it's made that easier. So basically, we've used this money to tie in all our grant programs and hire additional employees to help with what we need to get done. It'll pay for training. It'll also pay. The biggest thing that I like about the grant is it will do, new guy, it will do outcome reporting. And by that, everybody that goes into the program will now follow them. So it's set to serve 300 people over the next 3 years. So then we will go to Washington and present our findings. That can be good and that can be bad. You know, I think it'll be good because we've had good success with the IOP program. But it allows us to follow everybody, so we'll be able to have follow-up with them. So when you say, hey, how'd old John Smith do? We can say, well, John Smith has been sober since this date. He's been fully employed since this date. He has not been rearrested. So it allows us to do that. So we're really excited about it. You know, I think it's a game changer for Boyle County.
I do too, and what I'm excited about is this allows us to expand Jailer Wolford's vision of a county SAP, is my understanding, because the state hasn't. But the state, they may go elsewhere in the state once they're released. But our county folks that are in here in the detention center, if we can address them, they're going to be immediate impact back into not being a tax burden, but a tax
contributor,
a taxpayer here in our county. So we're helping to reestablish, improve the lives of our home folks.
We're trying to help ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. Help them help themselves.
Jared, I'm confused. What would be the impediments to getting a Social Security card?
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, they should.
Well,
they
they
probably got them if they're citizens.
Well, here's what you used to do. So I don't have a Social Security card because it's got lost because what drug
You're
addicts.
saying card as opposed to
Right. So
qualification.
drug addicts move so much
Okay.
that, you know, and they get arrested so much that wherever their stuff, so they're in an apartment, that's where the Social Security card, and they get arrested, they sit in jail for 6 months, the landlord gets rid of all their stuff. So you have to have it to work. So what you used to do is go down to the Social Security office, they don't give you a card, but they give you a letter. It says, this is Jared Thomas's Social Security, and they sign it, and I can show it to my employer, and they'll allow me to work. Social Security office, you can't get in there right now. So everything's done from the mail and everything's done over the telephone. So when you call, you don't have access to that immediate letter. So I can't go to work immediately. I have to wait for the mail to start. First, I have to fill out the paperwork. Then I send it. Right now, I think we're at 21 to 28 days to get a Social Security card is what we're waiting on. So if you're staying, like in Lexington, if you're staying in the Shepherd's house and you pay rent, well, there's 21 to 28 days you don't have rent. So it allows them to get back to work. But we would like to handle the 21 to 28 days while you're sitting in a jail cell. And then that way, when you hit the front door, you got a card and an ID, and we can do that while you're sitting in the jail cell.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
This is really big. That's one of the biggest impediments out at North Point. I went through the reentry program out there, you know, just for experiences. And as I told these guys the other day when we were down at the Shepherd's house, after going through that ordeal, I didn't want to leave prison. It's just too hard. It's just too hard.
You may not want to advertise that.
Yeah, I know. Got it on tape.
Right.
Got it on tape. But, it was just too hard to try and reentry into society because of all the impediments, like no ID card, no drive. It doesn't even have to be a driver's license, just an ID card. And these kinds of things. No transportation to make appointments to get yourself ready to reenter. This program will help eliminate a lot of those barriers to reentry and help improve our outreach. And it is a big improvement for the detention center and the staff out there, including James Hunt Jr.
Right.
It's really just connecting all the dots of everything that's already been happening in the county over the last 3 or 4 years. And I think I speak for Jared, the Shepherd's House, me, Blake, and everybody about how much we appreciate your all support always. When we were starting this program in 2017, it was we really didn't know like all the barriers that we were going to face, and we've overcome all of those working with Chris, coming up with new ideas on how to get clients into the program, make them be successful, help them be successful, really. And I think this is just another step towards that because we see that every week in court, right? It's like we know that Jared's the perfect candidate for our program, and he's saying all these beautiful things to us, but when he comes out of the jail to come to our program, there's these barriers, and this case manager is going to help alleviate a lot of those issues. We're going to be able to put our hands on them immediately, get them in there, plug them into the right resources.
And that's one thing that we didn't realize when we were designing the IOP. We didn't realize what a role case management would play. We thought, we need a ton of counselors and a ton of AA and a ton of NA. Well, that's part of it, but what we need a ton of is opportunities for these people, and case managers create that. So this allowed us to hire a case manager, maybe 2, that can come in and out of the jail. And then it didn't make any sense to have Brian start his own program out there and us have our program. It made no sense if we couldn't tie them together, because that would be him doing one thing and us doing another. Now we've made Chris's job impossible because he's sitting in court saying, oh my God, do I send this guy to IOP so he can get the help he needs, or do I leave him in jail to get the help that Brian's? So we've made Chris's job a little easier. And then also in what Roger said about you guys, and I have to do this in other areas. It's not just Boyle County. I'm in Scott County. I'm in Grant County. So I'm in a lot of fiscal court meetings. We don't have another county like this that my magistrates know as much about addiction as the community does. If I was to say the things I say to y'all, they'd be like, well, what's he talking about? And then I guarantee you there's not a county attorney in Kentucky that understands addiction like Chris. I mean, he understands it good enough to work for the Shepherd's House because he's able to identify people now without, he is. So the people he sends us, man, they're not, they're checking every box. So it's really weird because we've got that here, and we appreciate that because we really did do something kind of really out of the norm in county government that we've done here that's been amazing. So we really do. And I'm not going to tell you, I probably got 3 referrals from the judge this month. I would venture to say I got 3 referrals from the judge of different programming across the Shepherd's House board, meaning it wasn't, he needs to go to the jail program. It was, he'll benefit from your sober living. And you're like, how do you know that, Judge? We know it because we do it in here, so we really do appreciate that.
And it also, he talks it up in court also, along with Roger. And so yeah, they've got the message. They've got the message.
I appreciate
Judge, one thing about.
I appreciate their work in letting you re-enter, making it easier to re-enter.
Yeah, I appreciate their work to allow me to re-enter also. I didn't want to do it, guys.
Judge, one thing I'd like to, sitting here looking at Jared, I'm reminiscing back to the first time that the court actually met you, and your qualification. A lot of people may be sitting here, some of us maybe are new, I'm not, and Kay wasn't either, but sometime or another I think it'd be good to go back and give us that same little talk that you gave us the first day that you came here. I was so impressed with your resume, more or less, and you telling us where you came from, and I don't know of a person in the state of Kentucky or anywhere is better qualified to do what you're doing. I want to congratulate you on what you do. because of your background. And I think that that'd be a good session, just sometime or another when you have time, or we have time to have you on the program, to go back from the day one that you even thought about getting into this, and how you fell from top to bottom, and how you picked yourself up by the bootstraps, you called it. And I remember that talk so well, I can almost repeat it myself, because that morning you were in here with us, and you were so impressive, I'm going to say, that day, with how you did all that, and where you came from, and how you were living at the time, and what happened, and it just blew my mind, and I don't know of a person in the world that would be better qualified to do it. And I want to just say we're proud to have you, but I would like for everybody to hear that again.
Would love to. Anytime you guys want to hear it, I'll give it to you, and I appreciate that. And I have not missed any rung in the ladder. I've been to the very top, and I've been to the very bottom.
If I may, I'd like to echo what Phil has said. What generated my interest was years ago, Jerry told his story, and I believe it was at Danville High School, years and years ago, and I thought, wow. It has generated my interest, and it will change the way you think when you hear Jerry.
Well, he started out from being the professional football player, and how the first time that he seen cocaine, I remember that, and he didn't really know what it was, and how he actually got started and how he got hooked. But so sometime when you got time, I think everybody in here would just be blown out of their mind to know your background.
Anytime you want.
We greatly appreciate you giving us credit, which we don't need, and I'm saying we now, but I know it started with the previous court. But let's be honest, the work that you all are doing is invaluable to this community. You are taking people and elevating them and bringing them back to a point where they want to be, that they think that they're lost and they're not going to be able to be there. And you do it with love, the same love, if not sometimes more, than the families of the people you're helping. And those families are our neighbors. They're everybody in this county. And a lot of those families have kind of washed their hands of those individuals because we've tried to help them, and it doesn't mean they've stopped loving them, but you guys have kind of picked up the pieces and said, we love you, we've been there, we understand, and so we're gonna help out, and that's, you guys deserve the credit, not us. We are so appreciative of everything that you all do and that you continue to do for Boyle County, because you guys have had great successes here, and your program has grown, and you could have kind of said, we're gonna let somebody else kind of run Boyle County, but you guys are here and still making a huge difference, and I greatly appreciate Chris and the judge too, but just the love that you show this community really shows the kind of people you are, and so thank you.
A couple things. If you guys don't let us on the court, we can't play. So, I mean, it's by invitation only. So you guys.
Well, when you got MVPs, you got to let them on the court. Let's be honest.
Sure.
Jared, some of the greatest things you can do is give people hope. When you give people hope, then they turn their lives around. They see a purpose in their life, and that's what God gives all of us. He gives us hope every day.
Well, and I can tell you all this: when COVID hit and it messed up the jail programs because no transport, so we're not making. We're losing a lot of money there, and as slowly we started to close down things that we had to close down. Roger can tell you, we said Boyle County will be the last one. So we let Fayette County drop, and that's our home office, and we got rid of that jail program in order to keep Boyle County open. So Boyle County will be the last one to fall, but I think we're on the other end of that now. Transports have started. I think we're on the other side of that thing. I don't know if life's going to be normal, but I think we've weathered the storm. So and I know this grant helped weather the storm.
I said this the other day when we were over at Shepherd's house. This grant and these individuals that are participating and the synergy of all this combination of collaboration has the opportunity to make Boyle County the model for the nation to emulate. And as far as reentry and addiction recovery, because not just Shepherd's house, but not just the fiscal court, but this community through ASAP and everybody else is really focused on doing the right things for people. And all this together is going to set the standard for others to emulate going forward, in my personal opinion. So we got a great team here, and that's what it is, a team. And Jared and Roger both know the understanding of what a team concept is, because together, collectively, we're better than we are individually.
Yes. And let's not forget one other thing, Representative Barr.
Absolutely.
We need to recognize him in getting us this grant. I mean, Boyle County's not even in his district, but, he knew, he saw the importance of this.
And that was a cold call. I didn't know the grant was out there. He's the one that called me. He
Wow.
said, you need to do this.
Yeah, so that's that is fantastic. So we appreciate his hard work, especially with everything that he's going through over these last months with losing his wife. But still, being a representative to his district, but also this one. So.
All right, anybody got anything else? Guys, appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you have a blessed day. Appreciate it.
Let us
You
know
gotta
when
go
you
out
get
that door.
I want to know when you get those grills going again. I'm gonna come out there and cook.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right, next we have on the agenda Miss Shannon Greene to talk about compensatory. I don't know if she's in the area, but
$500,000.
yeah, there she goes.
Judge, while we're waiting on Shannon, I would just like for us to recognize our new employee sitting over in the corner so quiet like, where nobody noticed her this morning.
Yeah, we do.
And I'd like, on behalf of the court, I'd like to say welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely, welcome, Julie. All right, Miss Greene.
Elevating our court every day
We
here.
have comp time agreements to be approved.
Make a motion to approve.
Second, third.
Motion made to approve the comp time agreements, and was made by Magistrate Salmon and seconded by Magistrate Gay. I have three. I thought there was four. Is there
That
only
was
three?
I
Magistrate
think
Short.
there's just the three.
It was Short?
Yes.
Oh,
I was the third.
you were the third. Seconded Magistrate Short. Excuse me.
You know you're not gonna beat Magistrate
I'm gonna have to get a
Short.
hearing aid for this hearing aid. You give me any
You're not, Judge,
recommendation?
you can't beat Magistrate Short on the
No,
second.
you can't.
I don't know
You can't.
why. I don't know why you're even questioning who's second.
Okay, I'm just gonna go automatic there.
Yeah, you don't need a hearing aid. You just need to accept facts.
Just so you know the names, it's a Miss Centers, Mrs. Hogue, and Spranger.
Spanier.
Okay, that's the three I've got. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Any other announcements?
Don't forget the health fair Friday, or Thursday.
Get online and do that before you go.
Get online. They
Let's
will
go.
have paper copies there.
So if I already did it online, I just got to call and I got to make the appointment.
Make
That's all.
the appointment.
Okay,
I-
before
I'd
we
like
get too
to-
far offline here, we have not voted on the motion to approve the compensatory time.
We're waiting for you
All
to finish
those in
the
favor
names.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Thank you for that.
And while we're here, don't forget, I want to remind, this is your official call and reminder, Magistrate Salmons, that we have a finance and insurance committee meeting in the morning
In the morning.
at 9 o'clock right here.
You better call me in the morning about 8. You don't know
I've
what
got
I-
him on speed dial for our
You don't-
meetings.
You don't know what I got going on. I may have to, I may send my proxy,
I'll be at work. You
All right, thank you.
You
Thank
just
you.
honk as you're going by the McDonald's parking lot.
We need to get Duane in here. There he is. Okay.
We're in line, we're waiting. Okay, good.
Did you vote while you was out there?
I started to,
I want that blue Hank.
but you said it was a short agenda and you were in a hurry, so I didn't take the chance.
Is there the line still on?
No, it's just up to here now. I'm here to present to you a updated maintenance contract from Otis Elevator to continue the maintenance on our elevator. Mariah may have worked on it harder than I did, but anyway, we contacted them several times. We received a quote, or actually an invoice, and they had raised our rate quite a bit, so we called them up, and so they ended up actually giving us a much better rate, thankfully. So this particular agreement or contract that is, did they give you a copy?
Nope.
No. I don't have copies, all right.
I don't know.
Right, just scribble with your pen, all right? The contract price for the first year is $170. No, it's $178.48
a month. Okay, that's a monthly rate on the contract, on the maintenance contract. And then there's also a set fee for any emergency calls. If we call them for a repair and over and above their monthly visit and inspections, then there's a set rate, a set hourly rate and travel rate for them to come and do that work. In this agreement, it also states that this rate will go up 3% each year. And also this agreement is through 1/31 of 26. So this is actually a 5-year contract, 5-year agreement. And so that's what they have sent back to us and presented to us, was a 5-year contract starting at $178.48 per month. And then that will go up 3% each year for the next 5 years.
Why is it a monthly rate? Why? What can you have an annual rate?
Well, actually, well,
cheaper?
Keagan just left. I think we do pay it annually.
Okay.
At a lower rate.
Get it? Okay.
Yeah. And that may be, this number may reflect that, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, but we do pay it, we do get an annual invoice and we pay it annually.
Is there a travel rate and emergency rate the same each year?
No, it will go up also,
It will
and
go up
that's stated in here too.
3% also?
Well, it may be more. It's based on their contract, their union contract rate each year as they renegotiate that.
Charge, followed up on Magistrate Kaywood's question, do they charge extra from mileage?
Yes. Yes.
And what is that?
And they come, well, our service tech usually comes out of Lexington, so it's, I don't remember what the mileage.
It's 178 plus the travel.
No. The 178 is for the regular maintenance that they come.
That's it for the month.
They come monthly.
Annually.
They
But
come
the
monthly, make them.
emergency service is entirely different.
Okay.
Yes.
Entirely different.
Yeah. You know, if that elevator just.
Higher rate.
Yes.
Higher rate.
Yes. If that elevator suddenly quit and we had to call them to come make a repair, that's an additional rate.
What were we paying for? Remember?
We were paying over $200 a month. And that's why we questioned it when we received the invoice, because we had remembered it's supposed to be $200 a month. So now they brought it down to even more.
How often do they inspect it?
They usually come monthly, I think, and check it.
We've
I'll make a
had
motion.
issues with door closing, sequencing, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now they do. I think, you know, when the state inspector comes around, if he writes anything up, I think they make a special trip down to address those issues, and that's all part of this original contract. That's not an extra cost to us.
It's not emergency fees.
Right. Right. They're very quick and have always been very quick to address
And we
any
gotta
issues.
keep that elevator working.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I'll make a motion, we approve the contract.
Tom
got it.
Tom got it. Motion to approve the Otis contract made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Ellis.
Thank you.
And
I'm getting to where I don't go steps all the time.
Yeah.
Better before you go steps.
pass these around.
Question?
All right. It's been motioned and seconded to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Duane and Mariah for saving us some money.
Yes.
Judge,
Yeah.
point of parliamentary procedure, since we've got this guy captive, and I know he's got a load of roads. Frost comes here on the 20th. Could we get a quick update on, I've got 5 he's looking at right now. And I know you've helped roads, and I know you've helped on one critical one. Could we just get a quick update on what's gonna happen on those?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about our resurfacing? Is that what you're asking about first?
Primarily both, everything you're working on, but those
Okay.
5
All right. Of course, we have streets listed in our flex fund. I think right now their initial plan is that they may start on those next week.
Great.
I think that's where they were scheduling them in their workload. So as far as that status, we hope to see them pavement resurfacing our roads that we have on that flex fund list, starting next week. I did notice we did receive about 10,000 more than they initially told us. When the gas fund or the gas tax fund had been reduced, we were told that we were initially going to get about 20,000 less than we were first told on our flex funds. Well, we actually got in between that. We only lost about 10,000. So we will discuss that. We may be able to do all of them instead of having to leave one of them off at the bottom. But we'll have to look at our budget and see what money we have in some line item that we might be able to use to finish that last project. But so that was good news on that part of it. So that's good. The state began today working on Mitchellsburg Knob, so that road will be closed at least during the daytime today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Does the school know that?
They were supposed to know it.
It was
because they
on the
sent
radio
out-
and in the paper. So they should know.
And they sent out notices too to several folks like that. So, they're repairing one section of that road. They're actually digging it, excavating it, and going to rebuild it. The other two sections, as I understand right now, they're going to put an asphalt patch over those for now, and see if they'll hold. See if they're going to settle in more later.
Yeah. Last night I attended Portland board meeting, and they're most appreciative judge of your activity and what Duane's doing here, because it's such a crisis in some of those spots over there that Fire Chief Sexton had to shut down the use of the fire trucks, and that means a fire is going to have to hold for 12 or 15 minutes while they go around to another route, and that's dangerous on its surface.
But once these repairs are concluded this week, he ought to be able to go
Right.
across there
Yeah.
adequately.
Yes.
Since you're part of that committee, do you want to contact them, or you want me to, or both?
What do you mean, contact?
Sexton has shut down the fire trucks on Mitchellsburg Knob.
That's your territory. I'll let you do it.
Okay, thank you.
Another item that you had mentioned, somewhere along the line a few weeks ago, we had an accident there at the intersection of Quail Road and Parable Road.
It's fixed.
And they damaged the guardrail. Is it repaired? I haven't
It's
been back there.
repaired.
Okay.
As of
okay.
yesterday afternoon.
Good.
That's great.
Good. Well, that's quicker than we thought, because the local maintenance forces had to pass that on to probably a contractor and bring them in. So they got to us pretty quick. That's good.
And that Brumfield intersection with 34, it's become a health issue and a drug issue, and I hope the state is going to do Duane's proposal, because we came up with two ideas. Duane came up with another one. You might mention that.
Well, we've got some issues with folks. There's a pretty wide area there in the intersection at Brumfield, and folks are pulling off there and parking, maybe doing some dealing. We don't know what all is going on there, but just it's not a real good situation. It was suggested maybe they place, barriers there, or place something else there to keep them from being able to pull off the road. And then I also suggested the possibility, which I thought might go over a little easier, but we'll see, was to just ditch it properly, because there is no ditch through there, and there's no reason that people need to pull over in there. And so if they ditched it properly around that part, it might help too. Just like we've done that in the past on one of our roads where we had parking. We put a ditch down the road where they couldn't get off the road more than about 3 or 4 feet. So therefore, they're still out in the road. Then the sheriff or the state police or whoever can come in and say, hey, you can't park in the road. You got to move on.
That's a critical point there, because there's known drug dealing there. There are other horrific things that are going on there that I can't really state for the record. But the bottom line is Duane's idea would work perfectly and probably be the least taxpayer dollars and the quickest resolution to that problem. So
we may still have to have the folks in Lexington help us with that, because, but anyway, we can talk about that.
We can talk about that this afternoon. Just to let you know, I've invited Kelly Baker over at 2 o'clock today to ride around the county. And I've got 3 or 4 projects that we have discussed. One of them is Lebanon Road, to get our 18-wheel traffic going the opposite direction from the Parksville cross pike, okay, so we don't wear that out and have a lot of accidents. Try to redirect them northbound toward the bypass. The other one is we're going out and inspect the repair on Mitchellsburg Knob, and we're going out and look at the bridging over the railroad tracks at although they don't fund it because it's a county road. I just want him to see what issues we have in regarding the bridge over a Buster Pike out there on the south, and I'm still going to drive him down Junction City to see if we can get a speed reduction from 55 to 45 over there. And that's one, I'm just going to let him know in a very diplomatic way that I'm going to press these as far as they can be pressed with the state, as far as I can get those. The thing, and anybody that in your district is welcome to ride along or meet us or go or whatever. I'll give you a schedule. But there's not really a schedule, but we're going to go out at 2 o'clock and just ride around. But I did, just so you know, on Buster Pike, I alerted Stephanie Nelson and Senator McConnell's staff that we might be looking for some kind of funding to help us to rebuild that bridging. Now, it was on the Bridging Kentucky list, but somehow, somebody somewhere, I think, has removed it. It needs to be back on there. That's the point I want to fight for. It was on there, and so as we've been out there last week, I guess it was last week, time flies when you're having fun, but I'm willing to accommodate a lot of issues that Norfolk Southern has with that cut through and rehabbing the ballast and the rail there, because it really needs it from a safety standpoint. But we can't do without the bridge going back up, period. Because whether they like to admit it and they don't, both of those tracks coming north and south have trains on there stopping, refueling and other thing, and they blocked both at the same time simultaneously far more often than what we realize. So we're working those kinds of issues, and we'll go out this afternoon, Duane and I, Tom, Jason, whoever else, Ronnie, if you want to be available, throw your 2 cents in on Junction City on that from Junction City Baptist down to where the road narrows back from 4 to 2. That's what I'm envisioning being a reduction in speed from 55 to 45 because of congestion.
You talk about from Junction on in. I mean, from Church on in to Junction.
Yeah. Toward Hardee's.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It needs to be. They run at 70, 75 miles an hour down through there.
And they claim that if it's not a 10% or 15% difference in posted speed, they don't even look at it. So, I'll get Snout to come out and you to come out if you're available around 2-ish or
Just
whatever.
one other thing out our way, out of 150. And I've talked to Duane about this before, Mrs. going up here. I have no idea why they have a passing zone just past my house coming this way in that residential area. It's got a passing zone right in the residential area. I think
The side streets coming off.
Yes. I don't understand.
Yeah, a lot of continuous driveways.
Right there, when you're talking about Harmon Heights area?
Yes, before Harmon Heights.
Before Harmon Heights.
Just the hill there coming from Coyle Lane.
Oh, okay. From your house, down.
Back this way.
Yeah, toward
You got a
down.
passing zone. And it's ridiculous. Most people don't pay, they'll pay, and time they get back around, they're right in the mix of that Harmon Heights and double it out of line, but they don't pay no attention to it.
Well, that road has got so many houses on it.
Oh, you don't have
where
danger.
you can, yeah, oh yeah, where people's gonna turn into their drives.
Yes.
I was thinking about putting 3 lanes where people could pass, but you can't do that, hard to do that there because of so many resident people down through there. So
It's a dangerous zone. Duane, you and I have talked about this.
We'll ride out there, we'll ride through there and just see what he says,
Well, you show him, you know what I'm talking about, Duane.
Yeah.
Just a sign and have that double yellow line all the way through there.
Y'all let me know if you're interested.
You're gonna meet here too?
I
If
am.
your place is not going to
2 o'clock here?
Yeah, he's gonna meet us here.
I'll be here.
2 o'clock.
If
Thank
the
you.
place is not going to enforce speeding tickets, I don't care how many signs you put out there, it's not gonna make any difference.
Well, we only have so many.
But I mean,
At
that's
least it's legal that
Junction
way.
City now. You talk about the line is.
Well, it's in the city limits,
it's
that's
in
what
the
I'm
city
talking
limits.
about.
And you don't leave that well. I ain't gonna say.
Hey, Duane,
All
when you have time from
Hey,
Tom's busy
I agree
schedule,
with you.
could you get back to Goggin and look at?
Let me see, how many roads do you have?
If we have time, we can take him by there too, but you're talking about the shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, I asked well before Tom.
Let's put it on our agenda today, go out to Goggin and things.
I mean, you don't have to put it on there. I mean, just have him come over and throw some rock in there.
Yeah, no, I've talked to him about it. I did. As a matter of fact, I've talked to him
Apparently, I got to
twice.
send some hefty emails like Tom. Tom, will you draft up some emails?
I'll do it, yeah, for a fee.
Get some results.
All right.
here, please.
I know, I
Is that
go
it?
that way.
That's all.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Duane.
it.
Thank you, Duane.
All right, next, Birthplace Kentucky nominations. I got 2 names on the agenda that I'd like to put forward. And the logic on these is if you remembered our initial process, We had 25 or so names. We had a secret ballot voted, and there were, based on the people in this room, counted by the attorney's office, county attorney's office. And if you looked at it with the names that initially started and the 2 or 3 that have come off and where we are sequentially in that order of succession, these people would be of valued consideration on that list. So I would put forth the nominations of Janet Hamner to replace our new county employee Julie Wagner, whose term ends March 1 of 2023, and to put forward the name of George Coomer, who completes Kurt Holman's term ending March 1 of 2024.
I move we approve these nominations.
All right, a motion to approve the nominations to the Birthplace of Kentucky Committee is made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Short. Any discussion?
Have they accepted the, knowing that they've agreed to serve?
That is correct. Well, I have not, I'll be honest with you, John, I have not talked with Janet to see. I don't know. I guess we will cross that bridge. We'll call her after the court's approval, because I really had nothing to offer. But,
I understand. I just asked if they have accepted.
I didn't want presumptuous on approval. I didn't want to be presumptuous on approval. So.
Well, generally, when you ask us for names, you ask if those persons have been contacted and are willing to serve. And I think if she's not been contacted, we might want to contact her. And George, I know, wants to serve.
Yeah, I do know that.
Well, she'll want to serve. Let's go ahead and approve it, and if she don't want to serve, she'll tell us.
I agree with you.
Call for the
Okay.
motion.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
And we will keep in touch with Ms. Wagner?
Absolutely.
Brain trust.
She'll have a different role to play from her current employed status to help be okay to further with grant opportunities and so on and so forth.
Well, I know her passion, I know her style.
Absolutely.
Her knowledge is invaluable.
I have, while we're on the, well, here, let's move next to the Boyle County Library Board nomination. Do y'all understand that these names come to my office from the state librarian? And I don't know how they're vetted or where they come from before that, but this is the choice we have. And I'm not going to give the choice, but this is the name I put forward that is highlighted in yellow. If you're looking at it, which is Margaret Young Levi of Maple Avenue in Danville, Kentucky. I'll nominate her to replace Mrs. Mukes.
Mo.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize.
She's the former priest at Fiscal Church.
Over across the street. Okay.
Yeah. She's been relocated.
See, I don't go there, so I've not heard the name before.
Right.
I apologize.
It's easy to mispronounce that name. I'm sure she gets it all the time.
So
I can get Amy right. I know Amy.
I entertain a motion to approve. Margaret Levi is made by Magistrate Short and seconded by Magistrate Gay. Is there any discussion on the appointment or nomination to the library board? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. Thank you for that. We'll move on now to new business that they're completing the consent calendar. We'll start with Magistrate Ellis.
The only thing that I would bring up is at Portland last night, they were expressing concerns again about litter. And interestingly, one of them was concerned all the way into Junction. We do know that Fred Edwards is back on the road again with inmates. So please, if there are issues in your area, years ago when Toyota was looking at states to come to have their plant that is now in Scott County, one of the things that if you failed on, they wouldn't even, if there was litter along your roads, they wouldn't even think of coming. That's economic development. So if you're noticing or getting inquiries like I am about litter, and Fred and his crew did an amazing job on Mitchellsburg Knob just about 10 days ago. I got all kinds of accolades for their work. So get a hold of Chris or Fred, Brian or Fred, and get folks out there on the road, because that is an economic development issue.
Yeah, they're the only team going out right now. The jail has still not gotten approval to allow other inmates to serve in the county, whether it be in solid waste or in animal control or anywhere else. That's the only team going out, is the ones going out under Fred's direction and guidance. So.
Right.
But utilize them. It's a good use of
Benefit for us all.
Yeah, benefit
Are they
for us all.
solely relying on that, or is there any?
I don't think there's a program and
I'm just saying,
plan.
is there, you know, I mean, Angie does a great job with litter abatement and stuff like that, but I mean, I know Forkland's a very tight-knit community. Are they doing anything to, like, you know, hey, let's have a non-littering campaign going on through Forkland or anything?
Not
like
to
that?
my
Because-
knowledge, but it's a good idea to bring that alert to everybody. Sad thing is, over my lifetime, we've wasted thousands and thousands of dollars on do not litter signs.
Yeah.
We need to start issue citations.
There you go.
Chris, I guess they cost more money in court. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta catch them in the act, or I guess analyze all their trash to find a name.
Go through and see what names you find on it, right?
I don't think you can do anything to them if you find a name in the trash bag.
I got a question about that. Has there ever been a person in Ball County fined for littering?
Probably not.
Oh, yeah. And I've dealt with that before in court.
I know, many years ago, I stopped a guy, actually, and you talking about being dangerous, thinking about it. He had litter flying out of his pickup truck, and I blew the horn, and I pulled up beside of him, motioned him to come over, and he and I got out, and we picked up his trash. Well, I turned it into a ex-county attorney. Oh, we can't do anything about this. He didn't want to bother with it.
New sheriff in town.
So I'm wondering, I've never...
Well, that was one of the...
If we have a fine, you go through the state of Georgia, and you see these signs, by golly, they fine them $1,000 for littering. And you don't see the trash that we do in Kentucky. So...
It genuinely is an issue in what we all believe is the most beautiful county in Kentucky.
So we got a good county attorney now that's gonna put some teeth in this thing. I can see it.
So, Magistrate Sammons, are you making a motion that we raise the fine for littering in Boyle County? Is that what you're saying?
What is the amount now?
We have to change the ordinance.
That's the ordinance, yes.
Okay.
Could
We
put
don't have
that-
it before us for consideration.
Okay.
I think the visibility that you're talking about would happen if we had an agenda item to talk about that, get that in the newspaper, and mention what it does
Well,
against the
Magistrate
county.
Sammons will work with Chris and get the ordinance rewritten, and we'll raise the price.
Good.
I mean, I don't like it when I see people driving by and they flick their cigarette butt out. I mean,
Right.
I don't think the people
Or
even
the
realize
tray
that's
at the
litter or
stoplight.
anything.
Well, this was, and
I've seen a guy stop down Turtle Road, honestly, it's been some time ago, and dump his ashtray out
Oh.
with cigarettes right there at the stop sign. You go out there and look at the
I
cigarette
guarantee you
butts.
that at 127 and 150, right there,
Yes.
when you turn in the left, there are 1,000 cigarette butts.
That's exactly right.
There are.
Well, we're
You
gonna.
got anything else for us?
No, sir.
but that
All right.
was,
Ronnie?
that was one of the things that when we were out talking to Alum Springs, that was one of the issues that the local neighbors in there had. They said when people are taking stuff to the dump, it's flying out the back of their trucks. That's one of our issues as well. But I mean, honestly, like you said, let's get some teeth in that ordinance, or else it's a wasted ordinance.
Get it on the agenda.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
That's
you,
the
Judge.
short.
I'll give you Chris's cell number.
Ronnie?
Just say one thing, I appreciate your prayers for my family here. COVID, my wife, she never did get sick.
Great.
Just lost her taste and smell, and that's the reason she went, because she heard that was one of the signs. But I didn't get sick, my son didn't, it didn't bother him, so all was well in my house. So I appreciate your prayers.
Excellent. Great. Magistrate Sammons.
Talking about prayers, I appreciate all the prayers, you know, I think everyone knows what, me and my family are going through with my sister and brother-in-law. Matter of fact, brother-in-law's having chemo right now, and my brother, has got to have surgery on my daughter, we had a light stroke last week, so keep my family in your prayers. I'm just looking at this note, Judge, that we all received, or a letter from.
Yeah, it's just information.
Yes.
It's information.
So not for discussion today?
No, I don't think so. I want you to, it's for information, and we'll discuss it at a later point. I will make a statement. It's, if we take any action regarding that in the future, and I'm not opposed to that, it's really difficult when you start looking at things retroactively. We need to be very concerned about how that works out. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we've got, situations. I know Tom has a kennel in his, that I get calls all the time. That's, as a matter of fact, in his district. And Tom and I talked about this, and I don't know anything we can do about it because she's legal, you know what I mean?
Not covered.
Turned them out too early in the morning. I talked to her, and she agreed not to turn them out so early, but when she turns them out and there's 6 dogs barking, the neighbors are calling, but.
I just like for you to ponder this informationally, and if we want to in the future take a more focused look at.
We have to have an ordinance change.
And there's some ordinances that this individual has provided from Scott County and from
yes.
Somewhere else, but they're out there. So
yes.
Anything else?
No, sir.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
Nothing for me.
Jason?
We recently were, Campbell was, recently given the distinction. We've been talking about how beautiful town we are, but they were given one of the most beautiful small towns in Kentucky, the recognition from I forget which news outlet recently, which was fantastic. And we do have a beautiful town here. That's why I moved here. That's why I love being here. That's why I love serving here. So there's that. I'm just going to say a quick little piece that, General Hunt, I appreciate everything that you do. I know that you're an honorable man. I know that you are someone that cares deeply about everybody in this community. That's why you stopped your retirement to serve as judge executive. I am sorry for those that have taken aim at you solely because of your position, not the man that you are, because if they knew the man that you were, they wouldn't say a quarter of the things they say about you.
Thank you.
So thank you for your service, and thank you for having the strength to carry all of this extra weight, along with all the other things that you do, and your wife. I know it affects your family as well, especially the strong Christians that you are. So I appreciate all that you do for this county and the man that you are. You're an example to me, and I greatly appreciate it. So thank you, sir.
Well,
I think
you honor me greatly.
I'd just like to echo what he says. I think the judge realizes that he has our back.
And we have his.
And we have to have his, absolutely.
Thank you, Judge.
We have each other.
Thank you.
Well stated.
I didn't see that coming, but I appreciate the very gracious words, and I don't do this for self. I do this because I truly love where I live, and I pour myself into it. And we may have disagreements on what that is, but my motivations are always right, or at least I try. I want to do what's best for people of Boyle County. Period.
Well, it's seen by, I would say, most of us, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, I did have one thing, if it's just briefly, I forgot. I think it's Ronnie or Tom would be who would be directed at, but Terry Davis, she lives down there going towards Forkland. I guess when you turn at Parksville, I don't know what that road number is, but you go, then it comes to a T, and you go left, you go to Junction, you go right, it takes you to Forkland. You go left, and immediately their house is like right there on the right. Just flooding, they're concerned about the flooding in the creek. And so I said, I just mentioned it to our county judge executive and magistrates about that. I know you sent me something about some flooding grant or whatever.
Yeah, the FEMA grant, which we're going to get Julie working on.
Good.
Just as soon as she gets her feet on the ground here.
Make sure I'll brief you on that. Yeah.
But I just wanted to pass that on because I told her I would say something.
We done with them.
Yeah, I've been very involved. I mean, literally in that triangle, it's me here, it's the dollar store here, and I guess the dollar store is yours. And
Ronnie's got dollar store money.
But a serious drainage situation has been developed since that was put in there, and it could end up with litigation if there's not abatement of the to the.
You've already had your time.
You already had your time, Tom.
Thank you.
I know I'm done, but thank you, sir.
That's okay.
Nothing really, just I do want to encourage everyone to get your flu shot if you haven't already. Gotten your flu shot, get your flu shot. It's more important than ever.
That's how I got sick last year.
Yeah, because they're running out of medicine.
All right, thank you. That's Kaywood.
He done everything.
He's got a long list.
I do have several things. Back, first I'd like the letter that we were given this morning concerning the dog noise. I'm very sorry that this has ended up where I had a bad feeling it was going, but in talking to planning and zoning some months ago, was told that there was nothing that we could do. I would like by the next meeting is to have our attorney give us his ideas of what possibly we might be able to do in order to take care and have a solution for this issue.
Not to interrupt, but there's pending circuit court litigation, so I'd rather not comment until that is resolved. And once that lawsuit's resolved, then I would be happy to comment on that further.
Well, I want the neighborhood to know that this has not gone unattended, that there is a reason and that we will respond at the appropriate time. Is that fair, Chris?
I think that is fair. I have looked into it. I've actually gone out down there and made a surprise visit and so forth, so I'm very aware of the situation and attentive to it.
Let's keep it on the burner if we could, and I respect and understand the litigation going on now, but let us see what possibly we can do in the future to keep this from not only solve this particular issue, but future issues that are similar. Second thing
please do, is that 1875 is where I live at.
Okay. Well, you help keep it on the table, okay? Is that fair?
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I know quite often, sometimes it's questioned, our tax rates, but I had a conversation with a lady whose husband was involved and EMS came to their house and had to give service to them. I wish I could tell you, I'm not going to use a name. This lady was so appreciative of the service that EMS gave her and her husband. She's a very nice lady. She doesn't hand out compliments real often, though. I will add that, and if she's listening, I apologize. But anyway, she was more, my point is, we provide a service, and it costs to provide this service, but it's a quality service. Convenience centers, let me give you just a case in point, which counties don't have, or if they have, they charge for landfills for usage. Our convenience centers are a great asset to this county, improve the quality of life in this county. So when somebody says, but your tax rate is so high, let's think about the services and the quality of the services that are presented by the county. So it's not always about the tax rate, it's about what you get for it. And I think that gets forgotten quite often, but it needs to be said that there's people who are working hard to provide excellent service to those who live here and to our county, and we as a court should always be appreciative of those folks, and we are. Next, we had a conversation The point that really came out of the conversation of an incident that included that was involving Mr. Montgomery. He was going to do certain things, and I haven't heard anything about how his meetings went, that he was going to meet with those committees. But it did point out something that I think we had a very brief conversation on. We have nothing that talks about social media of our employees or any of those who represent us. We, in my opinion, and if you all agree, need to take a look at that. And need to see if we should not put something together that gives guidelines for the use of social media for those who represent us. Now, I understand the First Amendment, believe in the First Amendment. There's a fine line. However, I do think good judgment needs to be used. In some way, we have to put that into a policy of judgment for those who represent the county, either around this table or our employees or those that we appoint on the boards. So I would appreciate
I agree completely with that statement.
If we could put that together, and Chris, I know I keep coming back to you, sir, but would that be something that you could possibly do? Or if y'all will remember, Mary said that there was an attorney that we had
on a retainer, I think.
On a retainer that does this kind of work, and maybe that's the direction we need to go, because it is a ticklish issue, I'll be the first to admit. And everybody has different opinions of what's right and what's wrong. I respect and understand that. However, it did point out, I think, a issue that we as a court need to look at and put into our policies for those who are involved with us to use as guidelines for how they use their First Amendment. The last thing, no, next to last. Well, let me go.
And I can help with that. You know, I mean, I've been saying for a while now, which I think we need to focus more on, is we need to modify our ethics ordinance, you know, to cover more things than just what it covers now.
And that may be the right way to handle it. I'm just saying, let's not forget it. Let's once again keep it on the table, and let's work toward achieving that mission.
Quick question, sir, and this is just for me. I'm in all honesty. How do we keep it on the table? Because I believe I brought that up several months ago about ethics. Chris and I had a conversation about the ethics committee. I don't think it just kind of, well, here we are. We're still, nothing's, so what is it we do? How should we?
We have to rewrite the guidelines, and I think what we're talking about, we have to rewrite the guidelines to give the ethics committee, if that's the path we go down, something to work with, because there is no policy guidance on what he's talking about right now to say it's been a violation or there has not been a violation.
Or to give these people serving on our boards, these are our guidelines, these are what you need to abide by, kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
That
doesn't exist.
It gives direction, which we don't give. And those folks represent us, and I think I just think it would help them to have some guidelines, and we know how to handle this should it come up in the future. We're prepared. We're not prepared for the trail we went down a few months ago. So let's get prepared. And let's see.
I would ask that along with Julie, as part of her new assigned task, that she work with the personnel committee and county attorney and find out from Keagan who Mary had, who our, I think it's an HR attorney, if I'm not mistaken, on retainer, to see what we can find out for its policy direction and guidance, so we don't trip up on, that slippery slope aspect of invasion on the First Amendment.
I think we help our employees and our board representatives to be able to handle what they say and how they handle it in the future, so that they don't go down the path that we've been down.
Julie, you got that as a tasker, to work with the personnel committee and the county attorney and others?
I think that's only fair. That way, the board members have an expectation.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Well, that's why I brought it up. I think, I agree, Jason, it is fair.
The term ROE comes to mind. If you know what your ROE is, rules of engagement, you know what you do crosses the line when you exceed or, stay within the bounds.
So it's kind of similar to COA too.
Julie has something real quick.
Magistrate Kaywood,
I think, once again, let's start down the road and let's see where we go.
KCO attorneys would be happy to assist anyway without costing us.
I'll talk to Rich and find out,
See if we can.
Yeah.
I suspect other counties have faced this situation and done some things too, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Julie's got.
I was just gonna say, Tim, at our last Birthplace of Kentucky meeting, Tim was extremely humble and apologized profusely, and, he did a fantastic job of walking back and explaining and apologizing.
Well, I appreciate that, and those who are listening and watching today need to know that apologies were issued, because otherwise they wouldn't know, so I appreciate you pointing that out.
And he also did that with the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, that was the appropriate thing to do, but let's learn from the trail we just came down that we need to help our people in the future.
That's good advice.
John Rouse's presentation still hasn't been, and I know you've tried to contact him, but somehow we got to figure out how.
It's on my desk.
I'll track him down.
Can you help us?
Would you track him down? Let's get that, because
Put a boot on his tire.
Right.
Send Ricky on.
He did such a great job.
It's a nice.
It's a nice gesture. We need to accomplish it and finish it and get it done so that he and Susie don't think that we didn't do it.
I don't know why that
But
my communication efforts failed.
Let's finish
that.
that.
I'll work on that, and then also would like to, at some point in time in the near future, hopefully we can invite President Moreland to come and be introduced to the court.
I think that would be a great idea. Could you maybe articulate that for us?
Right.
And work with Ann and put him on the schedule. I hate that, but this is the appropriate place for him to come, and rather than us all go there kind of thing.
You might tell him that Magistrate Gay, you might tell him that, and Magistrate Kaywood will agree with me on this, that when President Rouse first came here, he and Susie had the court over for lunch. So he might want to consider doing that to welcome us.
We didn't need a lot.
Continuing on.
So on that real quick, though, so I'll work on that, because I do think that President Moreland, it would be nice for him to share his vision, and a lot of it involves a great interconnectiveness that President Rouse started between, kind of that town and gown concept and the interconnectiveness between our community and center.
Dr. Rouse knew every student, I reckon. He'd meet them on the street. I move we adjourn.
No. One more thing. Please, one more thing. I appreciate you all putting up with me. I have given a lot of thought about EDP. I hope you all have around the table. I know the judge went to a meeting that Marty Gibson had maybe a week ago with those folks on EDP. And I talked to Marty yesterday. I told him how I felt, because I felt like he needed to know in advance. And I think if we don't communicate, that's not good. He needs to know, because we pay a lot of money to him. I think there needs to be a new structure. I think I think there's an effort for EDP to stay in a similar structure. However, as I have thought about it since our last incident, which we all know what it is, I went back and listed and thought about the previous, over a period of years, of issues that we've had. And I think the structure is a part of the problem. And that's on me, because I was involved in some of that structure coming together. So I'll take my share of the responsibility. But I think when we get word, EDP sent out the committee to go visit other communities, and they came back and they said they do it differently. I think for us to not listen to what they found out doesn't make any sense to me. You know, you're not going to get a different result when you do things the same way. We have issues, and those issues need to be addressed, and I don't think the present structure allows that to adequately be done. And I'm not going to go into details about all the notes that I made here, but if we as a court, and if we as a giver of significant tax dollars to them, then we should let them know how we think, and we should let them know what our expectations are. Because otherwise, when it comes to budget time, there's not going to be the dollars there. We're not going to vote the dollars that they've received in the past. I think they need to know up front what our thoughts are and what our expectations are. Judge, you go to those meetings. As everybody knows, I think David Maynard has resigned, so I think there needs to be some thought in
Not a replacement.
Of a replacement, and how we will go about that. Not looking for that today, but that needs to be acknowledged that we
I'm
have
open for input from the court.
we have a seat. We have a seat available, and we need to have a process for filling that seat. So I did talk to David, and I thanked him for his service.
I did talk likewise.
And I appreciate his service, and I appreciate Dr. Williams' service, who continues to go forward with it. But we need to figure out what we're going to do. But we need to let EDP know what our expectations are, because we are a major funder of that, of tax dollars, not our dollars, tax dollars. And so we represent the people out there.
John?
Well, and I wanted to comment as well. Go ahead.
I completely agree. I think that if you look back at our budget sessions, when we talk about how we're going to fund, how much we're going to fund, we've taken the approach the last 2 years about being very reserved with how much money we're going to give EDP. I think that's a direct reflection on how successful they've been. I think if we were actually having the successes that we hoped, we wouldn't be looking to give them, I mean, a lot less than they're asking for. We would be looking to invest more into them, but we're very hesitant to how much money we're willing to invest in them, and I think that's because we kind of see that the structure that we have is not working. So I appreciate you bringing that up, and I agree wholeheartedly that their change needs to happen. I think the city feels the same way, and we kind of need to move forward if we want to continue to see Boyle County grow in economic development.
Well, we have no choice
Right.
except to want to grow and do the right thing for the citizens, and to grow our revenue streams, which that is the payroll tax is the major revenue stream. Let me just say, to summary, do we have confidence in EDP today, knowing over the last several years what we've had has happened? Do we have confidence? And this is a vote of confidence, in my opinion. If we don't, then we need to look for change of structure.
I think our vote's been based on our purse strings.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate taking so long.
Right, just real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I would, having served on the task force that did go out and explore things, I agree with the comment that we need to evaluate the structure. But as I keep saying, I think it needs to be in coordination with our current partnership, because again, we are one of the partners, and so I would encourage us, if in combination with the city or however, we need to get together and have a workshop and discuss this and talk about the structure, because one of the points that I keep trying to make is a big part of this comes down to the funding of this and how we're going to fund our economic development issues as we do move forward. If that's with a new structure, which again, I think it needs to be evaluated carefully, and we do need to look at doing things differently as we move forward, but I think we also need to know that it is going to involve a different type of funding structure.
Do we have a committee structure within the court that would allow us to partner with the city or whomever to further evaluate those processes that may take us to new areas? I mean, do we have a committee structure? I don't know. It's not personnel. We don't have economic development.
But we have 3 seats for input
Okay.
onto EDP.
Right.
And as I've thought about this, those are the places that we, you all represent us, and Judge, you represent the court. You have the opportunity to give EDP, and I compliment Marty. Marty's wanting to do the right thing, but without maybe some guidance from us, he may spend a lot of time and a lot of effort where we don't want to go, and I'm trying to avoid that.
But and Dr. Williams will say the same thing. I need to be able to have the desires of the court in general.
That's why I bring it up,
to
Judge.
give me direction. You know, I don't want to go out there by myself.
And I understand that and respect that, and you're exactly right in my opinion. But those around the table are the ones that have to decide. So first we have to have the conversation to give you guidance and to give Dr. Williams guidance on how the court feels.
Well, what I would like to do, y'all give me a week, and before the next court session, I want to put together a committee within the court of this body to lead an effort for an evaluation of procedural differences and or changes, recommendations that will help us to formulate a consensus.
Well, what I think part of the issue to me, quite honestly, is economic development has changed through the years, and we can't use the playbook that was used in the 1990s. And
no, we can't.
Because in 2020 it's totally different, and I'm not so sure that we have changed to accept that change in the playbook. The playbook
Apparently,
is different.
Dating back before the new court, these 2 gentlemen flanking me had made requests of contacts and reports that were so simple that any of us could accomplish them, and they weren't, to my knowledge, ever done, or if they were done, they were never documented. And
no, I think most of the information demographically, statistically, that the court has asked for, that we've received, have we not?
We have.
We've received a lot of it, but I don't think it's been the detail that we originally asked for to address Tom's comments. We didn't totally get the information. Judge, I'm trying to be very careful with my wordage. I think there's a lot of different areas that need to be addressed, looked at, and I think structure needs to be changed so that we don't go back and do it like we did years and years ago. You know, now I'm going to get it on real treacherous ground. We have wonderful volunteers. We have great volunteers that serve on a lot of committees, do with the greatest of reason why they do it. They do it because they love our community and they wanted to make it the best that we can be. I'm not too sure that our society hasn't changed to where we truly need to be able to hold people responsible in these areas, and that volunteers may not be the total direction that we need to travel down to achieve the mission that we want to achieve.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Go ahead. You let me go first last time. Go ahead.
No, and again, that point goes to my point about we have to have some serious conversations about the funding structure of this, because again, I keep saying that part of our current structure is we've gotten a lot of mileage out of really, while not insignificant dollars, relatively small dollars in what it's going to take to do economic development the way that we all envision it happening. And so
We've had those
I think
conversations.
I think there's some funding conversations that have to be taken.
I think all this needs to be on the agenda for another time.
Well, I'm gonna do a solid here. The city's already throwing this out there. They want to do a workshop with us. So I think
we ought to be receptive to doing that.
I would say,
Well, yeah.
I would say, reach out to Paris, the mayor.
Okay.
Set up a workshop, and let's not do a committee. Let's not keep going down, because I don't know if any of us have the time to do committees, and economic is extremely important. You know, we've been talking about this since I've been on the court. John's been talking about it, you know, for many years. So let's actually have some action and work with mayor, get a workshop going. They have the same thoughts and concerns that we have, which is a nice change of pace that we're working together. So let's get this going. Let's give either EDP.
I'll call him, see if we can get a workshop put together.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This is not a committee structure. This is an economic summit.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time coming. I've been here 19 years now, and I've been going to these meetings.
It's important, though, that if I am the tip of the spear in some of these things with the current structure and transition, I have to know the sense of the court and not speak for myself and what I would like to do.
You have my support, and I'm willing to serve on whatever you need on this one, and I'm sure John would do the same. I'm not speaking for John, but
I will as well. I'll be more than happy.
Right.
Well, but one thing we need,
Judge,
I have one other thing I want to add, if you don't mind.
We're getting a lot of spin-offs here, John.
I'll
make a motion, we adjourn.
I think we could cut the chase real short. You know, if you've got a horse that won't run, you get another horse. Now let me get to what I want to talk about real quick. Don't forget that we have a conference. I'm real concerned about our conference because I'm involved. CAECO conference starts 28th and 30th this month. I don't think Ann says nobody's registered, so please register.
I'm registered. I registered myself this time.
At this time,
everybody will be registered.
Will you register me, please?
Yes.
Everybody want to be registered.
What's the times?
Well,
got
it's
morning class and afternoon class. What is it?
And some of it's in person, some of
yes, some of it's in person, some of it there's 8 hours possible.
Yeah, and count me in, please.
Look at your look. You got an email on it.
Yeah, I did.
The thing I'd like to point out, I think we need to give the judge authority, which he doesn't need it, but to vote for us and I'm going to back out because I'm involved with it. I don't want to vote for either one of them. We got 2 guys running for second vice president. It don't mean much to you guys, but it means quite a bit to me we get a person on there. And judge is going to vote representing the court, Boyle County, on this election, Judge. That'll be on the 29th at 9 o'clock.
Down in Louisville.
So we don't have individual
yeah,
votes.
but you can vote.
I can do it
virtually. Yes, sir.
Virtually, okay.
Would you take care of that for us on 29th? Which we have
somebody we know becomes president this year, right?
No, next year.
Next year.
Next year, okay.
And I'm inviting all of you.
I didn't even know they were nominating me. That's great, guys.
Hey, all right. We're wandering here a little bit now. We got it, Phil.
That's all I have. It's just Ann's going to get us all registered, and that way.
And work with Ronnie because he's got that schedule for the morning and afternoon that he has to.
Well, I mean, we can.
Register. Let me put it this way. Register us, every one of them, Sam, because it's free. It don't cost.
Right.
We're not charging anything this year. Okay.
All right.
Wonderful. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Judge.
Sounds good. There being no further business before the court, I thank you. I thank each of you for your service. You're welcome to join this afternoon, and if you're busy, we'll call you or whatever you want to do.
Follow us in that bus.
But I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn. Is it seconded?
I second it.
Okay. Seconded by all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We stand in adjournment.
Can we get something on the census?